Welcome to the Data in the Story, where we deploy curiosity as our defense and offense in a fast changing world. I'm CJ Washington, a data scientist and novelist. As different as those two worlds are, they're both in upheaval. Change is everywhere we look. Imagine what we miss where we don't look. That is why we need curiosity. We can't afford not to look. On this podcast, we're going to look at AI. It's sucking up all of the oxygen right now, understandably so. Its capabilities are mind-boggling. But advancements in robotics, biotechnology, sustainable energy, and wireless connectivity, to name just a few, are poised to usher in their own transformations. We'll look at it all. But technology is only one revolutionary driver. Climate change, once a worry for the future, is here. We've seen extreme weather, increased forest fire activity, flooding, drought, and disruptions to global agricultural markets. We'll examine what's happening, why it's happening, and what might happen next. To be clear, I'm not here to paint a dystopian vision. That's easy enough to do in our times, but there's an equally compelling argument for a prosperous and wondrous future. Autonomous vehicles are sharing our roads, depending on where you live, and driving people where they need to go. Just last year, a baby with a rare life-threatening metabolic disorder called CPS1, if I were a doctor, I would adventurously say carbamoyl phosphate synthetase. I'd probably just prove that I'm not a doctor, was successfully treated with personalized gene editing therapy. These are the promises of science fiction. I find a lot to be excited about. I also have my fair share of worry about the future. My daughter is elementary school age, so she has plenty of time before she needs to decide what she's going to do with her life. But I have a colleague whose son is preparing for college. He doesn't know how to guide him. Those of us who work in tech are accustomed to saying, study STEM, you'll do great. Now we don't really have much to say. Friends and family have been reaching out to me lately with questions about AI, which is different for me. Everyone wants a doctor or a car mechanic or a lawyer in the family because they're so useful. Should I take my feverish infant to urgent care? Should I pay $500 to have my carburetor replaced? And the lawyers. Imagine the questions lawyers get. Anyway, nobody cares about having a data scientist in the family, and definitely not a writer. I'm not getting urgent text messages asking me how to spell conscientious. I did get a phone call once about a computer mouse that wasn't working. We hadn't covered that in graduate school, and I was like, have you tried turning the computer off and then turning it on again? That didn't work. I was out of ideas, and she's never reached out to me for help with anything again. She probably wonders what I do at work all day if I can't fix a simple computer mouse. But lately I've been getting questions about AI. Where do I think it's heading? Is it a bubble? Will it take my job? The honest answer is, I don't know. And then I'm back to being useless, especially compared to my sister-in-law, the registered nurse. What's up, Debbie? The fact of the matter is, we live in uncertain times. No one can really say what the world will look like in 5 years. Some people find that exciting. I don't fault anyone who finds it frightening. But no matter where you fall, remember that we, as Homo sapiens, are built for this. And the single best thing any of us can do to thrive is to cultivate our curiosity. We were all born with it. We were born to explore our environment, to ask questions, to learn and create. As we get older, some of that curiosity may wane, and that was okay once. 40 years ago, if you could program your VCR to record ALF, you were cutting edge. It was probably okay 20 years ago. If you learned to use Google, a smartphone, and Facebook, you could navigate the modern world. That's less true today. All of us, whatever our backgrounds, will benefit from a broader, deeper understanding of our world. As engaged citizens, it is our responsibility to make informed collective decisions regarding the development and use of technology. How should AI be deployed in classrooms and courtrooms and hospitals? How and when should gene editing be used? How and where should robots and autonomous vehicles be introduced into our lives? How should we address climate change and mass disruptions to employment? As individuals, we need to manage our careers and guide our children. We need to decide how we will use technology in our everyday lives. To competently undertake these tasks, we must understand the world we live in. We must understand how it's changing. Curiosity is the tool that will lead us to learn broadly. It will take us on deep dives into the changes that excite us, as well as those that frighten us. I've been thinking about the role of curiosity in navigating modern times for a while, and naturally, the first topic I became curious about is curiosity. Let's talk about it. What is curiosity? The desire to know something you currently don't. According to psychologists, there are many types of curiosity. I want to mention two: diversive curiosity and epistemic curiosity. For fans of TikTok and YouTube Shorts, diversive curiosity keeps you scrolling late into the night. Diversive curiosity is a hunger for the novel. It is the fuel that drives your search for the next thing. But say you stumble across a short video on the ocean. Maybe now you wonder where all that water came from. You want to know how the ocean gave rise to life. By the time you're reading articles and watching documentaries about the Archean eon of Earth, you know you're in the throes of epistemic curiosity, the desire to understand a topic deeply. Diversive curiosity and epistemic curiosity are both important. Without diversive curiosity, you wouldn't find the next topic to learn about. Without epistemic curiosity, you wouldn't learn. In our rapidly changing world, we need to cultivate both. What makes us curious about a thing? It seems like that should have an obvious answer, but I'm not sure it does. The information gap theory proposes that curiosity is sparked when we perceive a gap between what we know and what we want to know. If a person knows too little about a topic, no gap is perceived. If a person knows everything they think there is to know about a topic, again, no gap, no curiosity. The psychologist Daniel Berline gave subjects shapes of varying complexity. Subjects tended not to be interested in the simple shapes. Presumably, they knew everything they needed to know at a glance. Nor were subjects interested in the highly complex shapes. Presumably, they didn't know where to start. Subjects were most interested in the shapes that fell in the middle, simple enough to offer the allure of understanding, but complex enough to extend a challenge. It reminds me of a principle from video game design. If a game is too easy, players get bored. If a game is too difficult, players get frustrated. Even as players improve at a game, you want to keep them in a sweet spot, challenging enough to make it interesting, but not difficult to the point of discouragement. The same applies equally to learning, and you'll want to keep that in mind as you choose materials to sate your curiosity. If the current buzz around AI fills you with dreams of constructing your own algorithms, and the last math class you've taken is Algebra 1, it might not be wise to jump straight into calculus. You can get there, but you'll want to work up to it. Conversely, if you're a theoretical physicist, you probably don't want to enroll in an introductory math for AI course. You'll get bored. I certainly see utility in the information gap theory, and my dissatisfaction may arise because I'm conflating curiosity and preference. Right now, I'm curious to know how Squid Game ends. I'm saving season 3 for what? I don't know. Other shows, I won't name them. I've watched a few episodes and I couldn't care less how they end. Why am I curious about one show's ending and not another? That may be more an issue of my preferences guiding my curiosity. It's generally accepted that curiosity decreases with age. The number of striking counterexamples, you can Google 70-year-old gets degree, or 80-year-old gets degree, or 90-year-old gets degree, has some researchers focused on the idea that people simply become more selective in what they're curious about as they age. According to researchers at UCLA, older adults who maintain their curiosity and continue to learn may be able to offset or even prevent Alzheimer's. If you're interested in slowing aging, and who isn't, curiosity is another tool for your box. Stress management is probably already in that box, which is good because stress can dampen our general curiosity. If you're stressed about AI and the future of work, or climate change, or politics, I urge you to turn toward it and not away from it. Learn about the thing that causes you worry. Perhaps you'll stumble across a solution, something actionable you can do. If you're struggling to find your curiosity, the best advice I've seen is to make time for it. None of us can be curious when we're super busy, unless we're busy chasing curiosity, I guess. So find moments to slow down, daydream, browse. Let diversive curiosity guide you. Ask yourself what you need to learn, or better, what you want to learn. If you want to learn more about curiosity, I recommend The Desire to Know and Why Your Future Depends on It by Ian Leslie. Using scientific research and anecdotes about people you probably haven't heard of, and some you have, Leonardo da Vinci, William Shakespeare, and Benjamin Franklin, to name a few, Leslie built a compelling case for curiosity. He explores the role it plays in child development and education and how parents can facilitate it or not. He examines the ways in which curiosity serves us as adults and finishes with 7 tips on how to stay curious. Above all, the book is optimistic as evidenced by this quote. The scientific literature on curiosity, while it disagrees on many things, agrees on this. A person's curiosity is more state than trait. That is, our curiosity is highly responsive to the situation or environment we're in. It follows we can arrange our lives to stoke our curiosity or quash it. If you're curious, you can find a link to the book in the description. Keep your curiosity strong. Whatever you're curious about, I hope it leads you back here, and I hope you find what you're looking for. Do you want to know how artificial intelligence stacks up against human intelligence? Subscribe, turn on notifications. It's coming. To the data and the story.